take the world.
This is a tale that delves into the darker corners of superhuman abilities and explores the twisted path of a young boy with powers beyond imagination. Welcome to the extraordinary world of Brandon Breyer, the extraterrestrial evil super kid. Imagine a scenario where the Man of Steel, the symbol of truth, justice, and the American way, decides to take a detour from his virtuous path. Instead of becoming the savior we all know and love, he embraces his darker side at a tender age. That's precisely what unfolded in the 2019 film Brightburn, a tantalizing what-if story that flips the script on our beloved superhero tropes. In Brightburn, we witness the transformation of a seemingly innocent child into an evil force of nature. Brandon sees himself as a harbinger of terror, using his powers to sow chaos and destruction, much like Homelander from the twisted superhero series The Boys. In this video, let's explore Brandon's abilities in great detail, so sit tight and enjoy. But before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us, it means a lot. Thank you, and let's begin.
Take Lotto. Take Lotto.
Who is Brandon Breyer? What's his cosmic address? Let's talk about the strange and troubled life of Brandon Breyer, a tween with a troubling extraterrestrial origin. Brandon's story begins with his arrival on Earth in a spaceship in a town called Brightburn. His story proceeds with his adoption by Tori and Kyle Breyer, who also happened to be the ones who found him. A loving couple who couldn't conceive on their own. They took the alien infant under their wing, naming him Brandon and raising him as their own. From his early days to his teenage years, he grew up in a loving environment, unaware of his extraterrestrial origins. But there were peculiar signs that set Brandon apart from the average child. You see, Brandon's childhood seemed normal at first glance, but there were some uncanny things about him. Despite all the bumps and tumbles a regular kid encounters, he never suffered a broken bone or even a scratch. Strange, isn't it? Yet despite these oddities, Brandon remained a kind and friendly boy until middle school arrived. It was during this time that Brandon's intellect soared to extraordinary heights, leaving his peers perplexed and distancing themselves from him. Little did they know that within this seemingly odd and outcasted teen, a far more dangerous truth lay dormant. The origins of Brandon's home planet remain shrouded in mystery. What we can gather is that he might belong to a race of conquerors or colonizers. You see, in the depths of his being, something hides, a call from his extraterrestrial heritage under a trance-like state. He speaks an alien language driven by a hidden imperative to take over the world. It's as if his DNA carries an innate compulsion, leading him toward the very spaceship that brought him to Earth. Hold on to this thought, more details are coming shortly. The diabolical U-turn. This film boldly asks the question, what if that farm boy from another planet took a detour from heroism and embraced his inner villain? Our story revolves around young Brandon Breyer, and let me tell you, his descent into darkness is no random turn of events. This kid is the result of an extraterrestrial experiment meticulously engineered from birth to be a weapon. So much for a peaceful arrival from the stars, right? Brandon grows up in a small town, working side by side with his father, helping on the farm, fixing tractors, and trying to be a good son to his mother. He's got the whole Smallville vibe going on, complete with social awkwardness and a brain that could put Einstein to shame. Life may seem ordinary on the surface, but deep down, Brandon's destiny is anything but ordinary. You might think that Brandon's transformation into a supervillain was a result of boredom, that he simply craved excitement. The truth is, Brandon's journey into darkness was written in the stars, or rather, engineered from his very core. It's not a rebellious choice, it's an uncontrollable force. Think seizures, voices in an alien language, sleepwalking, and even sleep flying. The signs become clear as day when we catch him scribbling the Brightburn symbol he concocted on anything within his reach. That symbol? It's more than just doodling, maybe it represents war, a calling from his alien homeworld. Perhaps Brandon was sent to our planet as part of a grand scheme, a pawn in the conquest of Earth. His people, a race of beings known for their cosmic dominance, have set their sights on our humble blue orb, and now this troubled tween finds himself torn between his earthly upbringing and the alien destiny pulsing within his veins. Revenge becomes his sleeper cell's triggering force as he sets his sights on those who spurned him, the ones who feared what they couldn't comprehend. Starting with his town, Brandon unleashes his powers, exacting vengeance on all who stood in his way. In moments of vulnerability, he confesses his true purpose, speaking in a mixture of his native tongue and fragments of English. He was planted here as a sleeper agent, unaware of when his mission to take the world would be activated.
I said, give it to me!
Electromagnetic manipulation. He can control your radio. This kid has a knack for turning the world of electronics and machines upside down with a mere flick of his twisted fingers. Light fixtures flicker like disco balls onto Fritz, car engines give up the ghost, and electronics go haywire in his electrifying presence. It's like a chaotic dance party, and Brandon seems to be the DJ in control. Throughout the film, we catch glimpses of his power in action. Picture Brandon in his trance-like state spewing alien mumbo-jumbo like a malfunctioning robot. It's a signal for the electronic and electrical devices to go bonkers, as if they're doing their own wacky interpretive dance. But wait, as Brandon embraces his dark transformation into an evil war machine, his control over electromagnetism becomes more intentional. Like a conductor of chaos with a wicked grin, he's graduated from accidental glitches to purposeful acts of electrical mayhem. The worst demo of his awesome ability is when Brandon, in all his villainous glory, decides to shut down the engine of his poor Uncle Noah's car just moments before sealing his uncle's fate. Brandon's mastery of electromagnetic manipulation ensures that his uncle won't slip away from his grasp. Evil genius or just a mischievous brat? You be the judge. Better than Clark Kent? Let's discover what sets him apart from the Man of Steel himself. While Superman is undoubtedly a powerhouse of abilities, it turns out that Brandon has a few tricks up his sleeve that make him stand out from the red-caped hero. First off, we've got telekinesis. Brandon has the remarkable ability to move objects without so much as a touch. He tears a thick metal door which he previously cut with his intense heat beams right down the middle. It's a display of sheer force, all achieved without the need for physical contact. But that's not all. Brandon takes it a step further. He can make a laptop open all on its own as if it's obeying his every mental command. It's a mind-bending power that sets him apart from Clark. There's more. Brandon possesses the power of technopathy. This means he can manipulate technology at his will, from a telepathic link with his ship, though which he imprints his sinister purpose on the planet, to causing electronics to go haywire. He's a force to be reckoned with when it comes to warping the workings of machinery. The extent of his power remains unknown, leaving us to wonder just how far his technopathic abilities can stretch. So there you have it. Brandon brings some unique tricks to be the superpowered showdown gives him an edge. While Superman may have his own incredible suit of powers, it's these special abilities that set Brandon apart, making him an intimidating opponent in his own right. An A-plus supervillain. This kid is no ordinary brainiac. We're talking superhuman levels of intelligence. He's part of the prestigious 1% club, academic performers who make the rest of us feel like we forgot to bring our calculators to do a math test. Science and mathematics are Brandon's domain. His intellectual playground where he reigns supreme while the rest of us struggle with basic algebra is dissecting complex theories with ease. But it's not just his book smarts that sets him apart. This young prodigy knows how to operate under the radar like a stealthy ninja of intelligence. He moves with purpose, avoiding detection and acting with complete impunity in his city and school. It's as if he's mastered the art of blending in while secretly plotting his next intellectual conquest. In a demonstration, Brandon's teacher catches him doodling away, lost in his own little world, instead of paying attention to the lecture. But instead of reprimanding him, she decides to put his knowledge to the test. She throws him a curveball and asks him to distinguish between bees and wasps. Now, we're all expecting a standard response, right? Wrong. To everyone's surprise, Brandon not only distinguishes between the two buzzing creatures with ease, but he goes above and beyond, becoming the ultimate buzzkill of bee and wasp trivia. He imparts his wisdom like a professor, leaving his classmates in awe and his teacher questioning her own credentials. How super is this super kid? Brandon Breyer, a superpowered challenge to all of humanity. This kid is packing a punch, and by punch I mean a whole lot more. Brace yourselves for a power pack rundown of Brandon's incredible abilities. First up, you've got super strength, and when I say super, I mean super duper. This kid can lift cars and heavy objects with the ease of a power lifter lifting a feather. Rushing things? Oh, he's got that covered too. Just ask the poor girl whose hand met its unfortunate fate, or the phone that had the life squeezed out of it. Walls, buildings, child's play for Brandon. He can break through them like a hot knife through butter, with little effort to spare. There's more. Brandon got a little something called invulnerability. Forget about catching a cold or needing a Band-Aid. This guy is immune to human diseases, and he's never had a sick day in his life. Bullets bounce off him like rubber balls, and blades might as well be butter knives against his skin. Now let's take to the skies because Brandon has the power of flight. He can levitate and soar through the air like a cosmic acrobat. Want to see the world from a different perspective? No problem. Brandon can fly to unimaginable heights and zip around around at lightning-fast speeds. Just ask his mom, who was dropped from an airliner's cruising altitude. Okay, that was dark. We're not done yet. Brandon's got a need for speed, and he's got it in spades. This kid can cover miles of distance in mere seconds, leaving even the fastest speedsters in awe. He's got a talent for popping up in multiple places at once, like a mischievous teleporter, and he can move without making a sound. Stealth mode activated. Last but not least, we've got heat vision. The red energy beams shooting from Brandon's eyes, melting and slicing through any surface in their path. And when those eyes start glowing red, you know things are about to get real intense. It's a sight that strikes fear into the hearts of even the bravest souls. This humanity stand a chance. This superpowered prodigy does have a weakness, and it comes in the form of a mysterious metal alloy. Let's dive into the details, shall we? While Brandon may possess incredible powers, it's been proven that he's not completely untouchable. That metal alloy, the very material his ship is made of, holds the key to his vulnerability. Picture this: when Brandon, in a moment of misfortune, falls against the sharp edge of that very metal, his hand is cut. Ouch! It's a reminder that even the mightiest of beings can be brought down by the unexpected. But that's not all. In a desperate attempt to protect themselves from Brandon's wrath, his own mother takes matters into her own hands. She removes a shard of that very alloy, intending to use it as a weapon against her own son, but fails. And here's where things get a little more intriguing. That ship, the one that brought Brandon to Earth, seems to have a psychic link with him. It's a connection so strong, so alluring, that Brandon finds himself unable to resist its call and power. It pulls him in, controlling his actions and influencing his choices.
Oh, Brandon!
Marvelous verdict. In the world of superpowered beings, there are heroes and there are villains. And then there's Brandon Breyer, a unique and chilling entity. This super evil kid has captured our imaginations with his dark transformation and a range of extraordinary abilities. Yet beneath his menacing facade, there lies a boy trapped between two worlds. Brandon Breyer stands as a complex and riveting character, a cautionary tale of power gone wrong. He serves as a reminder that all that glitters isn't gold. It could be an alien specimen holding the potential to end life on Earth as we know it. We hope you love this analytical cum storytelling episode. Drop some love in the comment section, and we'll see you in the next one.